Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Droid Life Show. I'm your host, Kellen. We're here with the whole Droid Life team. We got Ron, Tim, and Dave standing by. Everybody say hi real quick.
Hello.
Nate?
Hi.
So here we are in episode 11, just after the holidays. We took last week off since it was completely dead, but we're back this week. We got a little bit of stuff to talk about. We have CES around the corner. We've got a rumored Motorola and Google phone that we definitely want to talk about. We also just want to talk about maybe a little bit the last year. Some big stuff happened too. 2012 was a pretty good year. Talk about crowd-funded gaming systems if people are actually interested in those. We probably should talk about the Jelly Bean update that came out for the Droid RAZR. It was like a Christmas present, if you want to call it that, before Motorola killed that thing off. And yeah, so we've got a lot of stuff to go through. So let's first start off with the CES preview of sorts. So if you guys don't know, CES is the Consumer Electronics Show. Happens every year, like basically the second week of January. Happens in Vegas. It's a full week of insane technology talk. In the past, at least the last 2 or 3 years, it had a decent-sized mobile sort of focus. Actually, and then last year it sort of went away a little bit as companies used like Mobile World Congress or their own conferences to announce stuff. But this year, it could be back to being mobile focused. There's definitely a lot of TV stuff. There's computer stuff. It's just a giant electronics show. Tim and I will both be there. We fly in, I believe, Sunday morning, and we get off the plane, and 2 hours later we're at a press event. So our week starts Sunday and it goes through. Tim, we're leaving Thursday morning, I believe.
Correct.
And it's just going to be insane. We actually cut a day off of our trip last year because we cut a day off this year because our trip last year was sort of boring. And it's just, our schedule's insanely packed. So just to give you guys sort of a preview of what Tim and I are going to be doing while we're there, we have like a press event with LG. We've got one with, is it Huawei?
Huawei.
We struggle with that every time. Samsung has a press event. We don't necessarily know if they're going to do much mobile, though. They're just been teasing TVs. Sony's could have a couple of new phones. Toshiba could have a tablet or two. NVIDIA's got a press event. Verizon's doing a keynote, not necessarily a press event. We kind of have a lot of stuff to do. And like I said, Tim and I get there, we land at noon, and by 4 o'clock we already have press stuff going. So if you guys want to start watching the site around Sunday afternoon, we'll probably be covering something or tweeting something or G+ing stuff, all that good stuff. So anyway, let's talk about some of the rumors that have come out for CES. And so these are the companies that we think could release a phone or at least announce a phone. I'll just go through these real quick and I'll let you guys sort of weigh in on if you care about any of them, if you're excited about any of them, or if you think any of them will actually happen. So the first one, probably the biggest, is HTC's M7. It's supposed to be, their next flagship phone. That came out today as a rumor. That phone may have even on-screen navigation buttons. The Sony Xperia Yuga and Odin, both with 1080p displays. Who knows if they'll do anything for Sony. LG could introduce a 5.5-inch 1080p device, also a 4.7 edge-to-edge device, and maybe even a 7-inch high-res tablet. ZTE might release a 5-inch Grand S with a 1080p display. Huawei might steal it all, though, with their 6.1-inch Ascend Mate. So crushing the Note 2 in size, if you will. So those are sort of the big rumors right now as far as devices go for CES. Do any of those excite any of you? We'll start with Tim. Does any of that do? Or are we going to see any? And if we are, which one excites you the most?
The only one that excites me currently is the HTC M7. And why that is, I think, is because I really like the DNA, except I kind of wish a couple of things were different about it. Currently, like right off the top of my head, that I wish was different about it is that it had 0 cents on it, and I know the M7 really isn't going to have 0 cents on it, but other than that, just the M7 in general, because HTC's hardware really impressed me over the course of 2012. So going into 2013, I really think they're going to be kind of upping their game a little bit in that sense, especially with the rumors of on-screen navigation buttons.
So you think the M7 might have on-screen navigation buttons then? Because otherwise,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the post too, and it says, like a quad-core S4 Pro, 5-inch display, 13 megapixel.
All that stuff we already knew.
Yeah, so we already have all of this stuff on the DNA, other than the 13 megapixel camera.
Well, that would be nice.
Slightly bigger battery.
That would be also nice. I think all of that, besides the on-screen keys. Man, on-screen keys would have made the DNA almost like the perfect phone, except you give it like the white back like the One X had, and that's like my dream device right there.
Yeah, because the DNA's back did start to annoy me after a while. It
It
scuffed
really
and
did.
scratched all the
Yeah, it's
time.
crap.
It was sort of a mess. All right, which of those devices are you least excited about?
The Huawei 6 point whatever inch.
Huawei.
The device does not even need to exist.
No.
I mean, like, it just there's no need for it. You know, if you need something that big, just get a tablet with 3G on it for all I care. I just don't. Just don't. It's a waste of money.
Just don't
Like
do
if
it.
I was working for them, I would just say, you guys, this is like a bad investment. Like, I don't know. We'll see. It's not gonna hit America, so I guess it probably doesn't even matter.
It'll
But-
go to Cricket.
Well, yeah, okay, cricket. So 5 people will get it. That's cool.
Five people get it. Ron, are you excited for any of these announcements, or which one are you least excited about? Give me both.
I'm not really excited about any of them, to be honest. I mean, there's some nice specs or whatever, but specs don't really matter at this point. And so the only thing I'd be excited about is if if maybe we saw something different hardware-wise. We kind of seen some of that with some of the Windows Phone devices like the Surround and stuff like that. But really haven't seen a lot of innovation in terms of doing different stuff with hardware and that kind of thing. And everybody just seems to keep coming out with different slabs, which is fine, but nothing special there. So. And throwing on their own random skin, which seems to become either slightly less horrific or slightly more horrific, depending on the manufacturer. Nothing really changes. So I'd like to see somebody blow me away. I'm guessing that's not going to happen at CES.
I don't really think it's happening either. Every single one of these phones apparently has a 1080p display, so that apparently is going to be standard going forward, which we sort of predicted. But ZTE 1080p phone, no one cares. And didn't the US tell everyone to not buy their products anyway because they're apparently spying on all of us? And Huawei potentially the same way. I don't think LG is really going to go big. They just announced the Optimus G and the Nexus 4 not that long ago, but they could. Sony, does anyone? I asked earlier today why no one cares about Sony, and everyone just said because they make crap. That was pretty much all anyone said. And I don't know, like a Sony phone has not interested me ever. I don't think. I don't know, Dave. Excited to see anything?
Nope.
Nothing. I mean, so CES has kind of become this. When we were first getting started with Droid Life, like the first or second year, it was awesome. We had LTE and the Bionic and all this stuff. It was like the glory days, and those just seem to be long gone now.
I will say I'm ready to be surprised. Hopefully, there's something we don't see coming, and you guys find it while you're there.
Yeah, feel free just to have a little bit of an opinion, Dave. Don't be afraid. I think. You can't be surprised at CES because that's just not how companies roll. Like at CES at least, like
it used to be though. Like think back to like the Zoom, or no, not Zoom, Honeycomb. That was, they showed off a lot of stuff there that we hadn't really seen before.
Oh yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. So for example, we saw like the Qualcomm developer tablet way before that even hit new sites.
Yeah.
But so I get what you're saying there. But then again, we get like a billion CES emails every day, just like here's what's coming, and it's all crap.
Yeah, it's full of crap. But even last year, there wasn't anything big. But in the past, there have been things. It just seems like people are moving away from that. But that would be.
I will keep my eyes open just for you.
Yeah. So because at this point, since everybody's moving away from that, that makes CES even more valuable to actually show something off because that none of the big players are going to be there. So that's where you can really hit the spotlight.
See, now that's funny that you bring that up because it was the first year I went to CES. It was the 2010, and you're right. It was the Motorola Zoom, and they wouldn't even let people touch the thing.
No.
All they had was like a little video preview going on, and it was
yeah. And I remember some people were able to get into it and didn't do.
It didn't do anything.
I'm hoping Google TV 3.0 makes an appearance. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, so I didn't really mention Google TV, but that has been one of the things. LG's apparently got a number of new Google TV units. Does that excite any of you guys, new Google TV?
If it works well, it excites me.
Yeah. What is it that you don't like about it right now?
It's stuck in Honeycomb. It's still based on 3.2. We've made a lot of improvements since then, and we all know that 3.2 was a misstep. So I'd like to see them, come full circle, get with, the current Android, that we see, and just improvements that I can't even think of.
Do you have a Google TV product of some sort?
I almost bought that 99 review at
Okay.
the time, but then I said no.
Okay, because my big problem with it is I have the original Sony Blu-ray player version. Like that came out with the review, and the issue I have is that it's just slow. I don't know what the specs really are on it, but it's so clunky and slow you can't do anything on it. So I'm just interested in to know if anybody has a newer one and if it has, it's at least decent performance-wise. But
yeah, is it just me or does Google TV completely suck? Maybe it is just like these older versions, because I have a review and I just can't use it. It's so frustrating because everything force closes and it's ugly, and
it's really hard to just move around and navigate in.
It's clunky. It's really clunky.
They have all those content deals in place now, so I think if the time is for Google TV, it's now to come out and come swinging.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see. I mean, Tim and I will be around all that stuff, and if they announce some new version of Google TV, we'll definitely try to get our hands on it and play with it a little bit. Yeah, I know LG's doing it. I don't know if anybody else is backing Google TV anymore at all. We haven't really heard much. Should be interesting.
Well, Eric Schmidt said that, what was it, like 50% or something like that of all TVs by the end of this year were supposed to be running Google TV, and that didn't seem to happen either.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
It has not been a good product, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah. So anything else you guys are interested about as far as CES goes? Those are just some of the devices coming out, but we usually see, like really random accessories. Obviously there's TV stuff. Are we going to see like a new Intel phone? Because last year that was sort of the big story, was Motorola partnering with Intel, and they showed off a couple of like really bad demo phones. And since we got one phone and it went only to Europe, maybe we'll see those again. I don't know. Actually, I was looking at the list today, and I don't even know if Motorola is going to be there. I tried to just find them really quick. They're not having a press event. They're not having a party. They haven't sent Tim. Have you gotten an email from Motorola that says like, "Hey, come hang out with us or see our booth"?
Oh, I got nothing.
Yeah, they've apparently disappeared from CES, which is not really a good sign. I know they're trying to be the new Motorola, but you got to have a presence at CES, even if it's a small booth.
Good point.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's CES. I mean, we'll get there, and it'll be fun for us while we're there, but who knows how much awesome news is going to come out of it. It's just not the same.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and keep up with our Tumblr feeds. It's going to be legit.
Wow. It's not going to be that legit. But it's going to be fun. Like, Tim and I get to have a lot of free booze and food while we're there, and that's like the fun part about it, but there's probably no good product announcements coming. All right, let's move on to CES and talk about this Motorola Google rumored X phone. Was it Wall Street Journal that reported on this?
Yeah, they were the first, right?
I think so.
I think so.
Them or Bloomberg. I think it was Wall Street Journal, though.
I think I have it up. Yeah, Wall Street Journal. So they said they're working on a phone together called the X phone, and they initially were trying to get it out fairly soon, I think, but Wall Street Journal said they ran into supply chain obstacles because they were trying to do like flexible displays and use fancy ceramic materials and look for new shapes and colors and to make something really wacky that none of us had ever heard of. And that's sort of all we know. Oh, and then they also said they're going to make an X tablet right after they make the phone. Right now they're just trying to get it out into 2013, which is a giant sort of range. So yeah, we don't really know. We've heard rumors and stuff that hit our inbox. I think we mentioned it in our first show ever that there was like, wasn't it called the RAZR X? Isn't that what our source told us? They called it the RAZR X, and this is called the X phone. So who knows if they'll be the same? But our guy told us like a 5-inch display, 1080p, all the stuff you would expect. I don't know if he had any surprises for us or not. So. X phone. We actually asked the readers what they wanted in this, and of course they all said just make it a Nexus. 1080p display, lots of RAM, quad core, yada yada yada. Anything you guys would like to see from Motorola and Google together in a phone? You could kind of just go out there on this. This is sort of what we've all been waiting for, right? A Motorola Google inspired phone. Anybody?
Ron?
Ron's thinking.
Yeah. No, I think. I mean, Motorola's hardware has been great, and their software they've really lowered down their skin quite a bit, and the few I forget what that thing's called, the activities thing that they have on top of there with MotoBlur, which I'm sure they don't call it, or like you can set actions. I forget what it's called.
Oh, smart actions.
Smart actions. There we go. Like that's actually pretty cool and useful. So and they've got, with the RAZR series, they've got amazing battery life. So I mean, they've got a lot of really good things going for them. So I mean, it'd be cool. I don't know if there's anything that they could really pull out of there that would be wildly different from what we're seeing. We're not really seeing any indication of any big shifts in terms of specs or anything else like that, or software. So I mean, it'd be great if it came with stock. I mean, if they did something with, something crazy with the camera or something like that. But this stuff we talked about before, stuff that we want to see on devices that we don't have right now. So I doubt we'll see that with whatever this phone turns out to be.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking that this rumor mentioned, I thought maybe the actual Wall Street Journal article said that they're going to do this X phone and they're also going to continue their RAZR series. So this phone could potentially be some sort of a Nexus, possibly, or Google could sell it directly like they're doing with the Nexus 4. I'm not really sure, but I thought I remembered it saying something that you'd buy it, Dave, if they make an X phone.
I love the RAZR M, so if they can continue to put polish on devices and potentially get further away from the blur, then I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the RAZR M as well. Tim, X phone? What do you think?
X Factor? Yeah, definitely. X phone is going to be cool. I mean, really, if I could just have them put like their main focus on hardware, basically, I would just like to see a really cool looking device. And other than that, I can't really think of anything else. I'm not going to go all crazy. Flexible display, 4K display or anything like that, I want a good phone, man. I'm an enjoyer of good phones.
It seems like if you took Motorola's hardware and you let Google just sort of go after it with software, that should be a good combination.
Definitely. So I'm using the RAZR HD, and I enjoy the hardware, but the software has bogged down completely. Like since a couple of weeks I've used it, it's slow and I just can't stand it anymore. So
that's kind of weird. That's like a dual core Snapdragon S4 or something like that, I think.
Yeah, just S4, not Pro.
Not the Pro. Only 1 gig of RAM too, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Google, Motorola to finally do something. I just hope they do this right. I hope they make this phone like its own thing, not tied to people like carrier tied phones because then they can get them cheaper. But I hope that this X phone is unlocked like a Nexus 4 is. I almost hope it's sort of a Nexus type of device that people can buy, and then if they want to do a RAZR X or whatever we talked about before, they can do that and tie that to carriers and all that stuff. But I don't know. It's about time that they start showing something. I know the whole merge of Motorola and Google it's still pretty new, but I think it's time that we get something cooking, something to get excited about, rather than just the RAZR HD lineup.
We need something to hype beast, man.
Yeah,
we need a big Nexus device just to hype beast throughout 2013. I'd be happy with that.
A year-long hype beasting of a Google Motorola phone.
Oh, people would love us.
That could go bad quickly. We hype beasted the Thunderbolt for like 3 months, and that was not a pretty thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. I mean, with the rumors that keep coming out with a bunch of random phones, like the best thing that I've seen people come up with is it might have a flexible display, which I still can't think of a use for at all.
Because it won't break.
That's the only use though. Like that's fine, great.
That's a pretty big deal though.
Yeah. Says the man who.
I mean,
broke his.
Well, yeah.
Just because the screen is flexible doesn't mean the rest of the phone is. So.
What?
Just make it all screen. Problem solved. But I mean, that's the thing. Like when I was thinking back through. Wow, Tim, you're really going to town. I was thinking back through.
I'm sitting on the floor, Ron.
Yeah, I saw in chat. But like when I was thinking back to the Nexus one when that came out, and the big phone before that was the original Droid, basically, and the huge jump from the Droid to the Nexus One. I think Nexus One had 1 gigahertz processor. Droid was like 528 or something. Mm-hmm. So it's this huge jump in specs and everything else like that. And after that, Nexus devices have just been what was the best phone of that year, and maybe a few enhancements here and there. There hasn't been like a Nexus device hasn't really stood since the Nexus One hasn't really stood for here's this big leap with something. And so like maybe if they have their own in-house manufacturer like Motorola, maybe Google can start pushing that stuff and doing. I mean, obviously with the battery technology, I haven't seen any phone that gets close to the RAZR Max in terms of form factor and everything else like that. Like that's great, and they need to be pushing that more. But I mean, aside from that, I mean, if they start, I mean that's what could get the Nexus brand out there if they really want to do that. there's zero indication that they do, but I don't know why else you'd bother doing it then at that point, because really, what's the point of having a Nexus 4 that you can't buy that, doesn't
I'm
work
waiting
on
for
half the
my
carriers?
Google Snap phone. It's going to be that flexible screen, right? But you're going to snap it over your wrist like those old bracelets. And when you want to use it, you pull it off and you start using it. So you just slap it on and you go on the go.
Now that's innovation right there. The slap phone. You've been watching too many of those like render videos.
Every single one has a holographic keyboard.
Yes, they do. I almost want to talk about that because it's so ridiculous, but we don't have to.
About a holographic keyboard?
Yeah, the holographic keyboard thing.
That's the future. Is that why you want to talk about it?
Well, it was just so funny when because you're talking about that Galaxy S4 like video some company made, and they put it like in a dock and had a holographic keyboard. And I saw everyone was like, "This could have a holographic keyboard." And I was like, "Don't you guys remember when the iPhone 5 fake video came out and had a holographic keyboard?" And Fox News was like, "The iPhone 5 has a holographic keyboard," and they actually thought it was real. We just need to go
be careful, because we found out it wasn't Fox News. It was just a Fox News affiliate. And people loved pointing that out in the comments.
They were branded with Fox, and they got it way wrong.
Yeah, regular humans thought that was an actual product. So that's really the problem. Doesn't matter what source it came from.
And first of all, I can't imagine how awful a holographic keyboard would be to type on. You can't even type on like those like flip covers and stuff.
Yeah, well, they had you can get on Amazon. You can get one of those things that hook up to shoot. That shoots like a laser onto the table, laser keyboard. But all the reviews for it say they're terrible. So holographic isn't gonna be great either. I don't think.
I can't imagine at all.
One day.
Yeah, one day. I sort of hope not. But yeah, Motorola Google X phone. We'll see. We really have no time frame for it. All they said was 2013, so it's going to be a while. Let's talk about just our top phones of 2012, since we're now 2 days into 2013. So I put together a list of my top 10 phones of the year. I put the Galaxy S3 at the top. I think it surprised some people, but it was just, even though like the Note 2 has a better display and the DNA has a better display, I just thought the overall package, you just couldn't beat it. And the fact that Samsung finally released a phone that was the same form factor on every single carrier. I still like it. It's one of those phones I go back to. I put the Nexus 4 number 2, which probably pissed a lot of people off. But it's just a Nexus. To me, it's just a really, really great phone, other than, obviously, I don't like the glass back, no LTE. I had the Note 2 up there, and the DNA sort of tied at 3 and 4, and then the 1X at 5. Dave's RAZR M at number 6. So why don't you guys each give me like your 1 or 2 top phones of the last year, and just tell me why. Let's start with Tim.
Oh boy. Well, I'll have to just give you 2. From early 2012, I'd have to give it to the 1X, greatest phone of all time. And then my latter years, I'm a complete Note 2 fanboy these days, man. I can't get enough of this thing anymore.
What? Since when?
You guys know me. I've gone from like, nah, it's too big, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of using it to my day-to-day, and now it's the only phone I can use. Gorgeous display. It's really fast. I don't know, man. And it can only be on Verizon, America's most reliable network. Because I had it on T-Mobile at first, and it was just killing me. But now
you weren't using it when it was on T-Mobile, but you've had the Verizon version for a few days now, and you're all about it.
Yeah, I can take it everywhere, and just like, the camera's great. I don't know. I mean, you could really just go down the whole list of specs and be like, yeah, that's good. And I think that's what makes a great phone. Is complete. The size. It's still, my family makes fun of me, but whatever.
I'm glad that they do.
Your family makes fun of you. That's good.
They don't know nothing. So yeah.
How does the screen compare to the GS3? Is it?
Yeah, compared to the GS3, I think, the naked eye, to me, really can't tell too much of a difference. But say when I'm playing Need for Speed, the most wanted one, it looks great on the Note 2 compared to like the smaller displays.
Yeah, they upped the technology in the Note 2 display, so it's no longer pentile. But they won't call it plus, because it has this really weird pixel arrangement, but it's not pentile. Like there's no shared pixels and stuff, so it is better. Yeah,
and to anyone who said the button, I got Kellens who put that special little cover on it, so I don't have to see that big Verizon logo. So don't worry.
Did you try to take that off? Because I tried to get that off, because that's a review unit, and I can't get it off.
I'm pretty sure if I take it off, I'll break the device.
Okay, that's what I thought too.
So we're gonna have to leave it on and send it back.
Oops. I'm sure they'll be fine with it. Samsung was probably pissed that Verizon branded it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, 1X, Galaxy Note 2, that's it.
Sweet. Dave, what do you got for top 1 or 2 phones of the year?
I'm going to have to go with the RAZR M as my number one. After having so many large phones, going back to the smaller form factor, but without having to compromise on screen size, has been like a complete win for me. And it fits in the hand really well. And I don't know. Number two, I'm going to have to put the Nexus 4, just because it's a sleek device, and obviously it's running the latest from Google. And coming in at 3, because I don't actually own it still, is a DNA, because the screen is beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm all for 1080p taking over. That's fine. 1080p can be the sell on all of them for me.
And it looks like it's going to be. Yeah, it's once you go from the DNA to any other phone, even like the Note 2 or the Nexus 4, you were right. I think you said it like on one of our other shows how it just nothing looks even close to as good as a DNA. The display on that damn thing is really that good. But the RAZR M though, I mean, I'm with you. I like the RAZR M because that form factor. Like when you pick that phone up, you go, "Wow, this is really small." And you turn it on, the screen's actually decent enough size that it doesn't. Nothing looks too small. I hope they continue that. Actually, there was a rumor I think in the last week that said they're already making the RAZR M HD or something like that. They're going to put an HD display on it, which would be cool.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I'll
I hope
buy
they.
it.
Yeah, I definitely hope they continue that edge-to-edge goal of theirs. So, Ron, what do you got?
I think for me, in terms of like number one for me, in terms of design, was definitely HTC's 1 Series. I like the 1X the most, but I like the form factor of the 1S. It just had a lousy display on there. So I love their design cues that they've got going on there, the stylings of it and everything else like that. Don't care for sense, but everything else that they got going on design-wise there beats out everybody else as far as I'm concerned. Number 2 would probably have to be probably the Nexus 4, even though it doesn't have LTE and you can't buy it. It's a slick-looking phone, and I like stock, and that's the best way to get stock now since they decided that nobody should be allowed to get the Galaxy Nexus anymore. So that's it for me.
Yeah. The Nexus 4, it's been my daily phone basically since I got it, and I haven't necessarily missed the LTE all that much unless I need to upload a video or something, but HSBA Plus is fast enough.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely an amazing little phone. All right, let's talk just briefly, if you guys want to, about crowd-funded gaming consoles. So we've got the Ouya, I believe that's how you say it, Ouya? Or is it Ouya? Or is it Huawei? Ouya?
No, it's Ouya.
And then we have this new one today called the Game Stick. So they're Kickstarter projects, and I think the Ouya blew like most Kickstarter records out of the water when it first went up. I think it's already been topped by other stuff, but people apparently seem to be excited about a really cheap gaming or console gaming experience that you can sort of take on the go, but you can play all your Android games, all your smartphone games, big screen, obviously super affordable. I think the Ouya founders are like, they sort of talk up this idea of turning the console gaming empire like on itself, and we're trying to sneak in and shake everything up, and we're just going to make, smartphone apps work because they're cheaper and they still look awesome and yada yada. So, do you guys care about this stuff? I know most of you all play some form of console games. So, do any of these interest you? Like the Game Stick now is a game pad with a little USB, or it's probably an HDMI stick that sticks in the controller, and then you can pull it out and plug it in your TV. It's super mobile. And then the Ouya is obviously a little mini console. But anybody, do these excite you at all?
I'd rather see Miracast grow up a bit more and lose some of the lag, and then just let me use my current device along with a controller that's designed to work with the phones, instead of having to have a separate, place it down and it always stays there static. Because then you could take it with you on the go and not have to worry about transferring an account or bringing extra hardware. You just have your one device that you can then use on the go. That's what I would prefer to see instead of a console specifically made Android.
I like that idea, just using your device rather than. And I don't know if you saw, I did a Miracast test, and it sucks. There's like a half a second delay almost between whatever you're touching. Like I tried to play a game on it when I first hooked it up, and you couldn't because there was too much of a delay, which is unfortunate. That's a good idea though. Ron or Tim?
Not very interested whatsoever. Well, especially now that I'm rocking the Note 2. Who needs an HD TV while you're at it?
You're such a Note 2 family. This is weird. I'm gonna have to get used to this.
Yeah, I know. I'm also trying to get used to it.
Because they're really cheap, right? I mean, I think the Ouya is like $70.
Probably like their main. Yeah, that's like their
I think
main
99.
thing.
Oh,
yeah, the
99?
game
Okay.
sticks is the game sticks that are gonna be like $70, and I think that's really cool. But at the same time, is it worth being able to play just like Angry Birds or Shadowgun on your HD TV? I could see how some games, maybe like Shadowgun, the Dead Zone, the multiplayer type stuff, Nova 3, games that really take graphics to the next level when it comes to mobile, the new Need for Speed. I mean, the graphics are pretty sweet, and so having that on an HD TV would actually be kind of worth it. I don't need to pay that much money just to have cut the rope or whatever the heck.
We
on
also
my
might
HD.
see a different breed of games come out since they're going to be made to be played with a controller. Right now, the games are still saying like touchscreen. You know, they say they're controller compatible, but you know they might start making them specifically for use on a controller, which means we might see more advanced games or different genres that we're not currently seeing.
We might see a few, but I don't see major adoption.
Whoa, no, you're
anytime soon
not
for
going to
that.
find Assassin's Creed 4 on the Ouya. But
No. But I see what you're saying. Maybe like a driving game that's kind of specifically made for it or something.
you know, just different thing. I mean, I know they adapted like an RTS. There was that Halo one that they did. I don't know what other ones came out like that. You can see, I mean, we have those currently with the touch commands, but I think they could do a lot more if you knew you were going to have a controller. Right now they're limited because you have to assume that a touchscreen is more than likely going to control it. But if you're going to say, all right, it's definitely going to have a controller with 8 buttons on it and 2 control sticks, this is what we can do now, given that we're going to have these levels of input. Right now they're limited.
Well, then again, they're going to start seeing like percentages, maybe. I mean, if it's Android powered, there's going to be some type of numbers. The games are coming from Google Play, or they're going to have their own type of market or something. There's just not going to be that many people for developers to say, yeah, this is totally worth it for us to develop a whole new type of game just for this little baby console.
They could easily put a marker in the manifest for an app that says requires controller, and therefore it would be filtered just to a device that has a controller on it. Just like right now, there are apps where you can signify if you don't have like a touch screen, then you can't be on it. So that's how you don't see apps for the Google TV, because those say doesn't require touch screen, and therefore those go, or if it has one, don't use it, etc.
Well, if you're going to do that, what was I going to say? Oh, man, I had a fantastic point.
I'm sure it was awesome.
Just keep going. I'll come back to it.
Well, so Tim, you brought up an interesting point though, and I don't know how this is going to work for them. Are they going to have a Google Play Store? Like I don't know if any of them have said or if they can.
No, they were only saying that there was going to be a way for these publishers to get it out. There wasn't like different means for it. It was just through Google Play.
Was Steam backing them at all? I don't recall if that's been a partnership.
Not GameStick. I don't know
Not
about Ouya.
GameStick. I thought about Ouya. Maybe
I'm not sure. They had so many damn.
They're the only one that really has a lot of steam going. I know that GameStick, got a lot of money this morning and they're doing well today. Mm-hmm. But and then, come on, how many different things of the same thing can you have, or how many different versions of the same thing can you possibly have?
Well, there's 3 main consoles currently. You have Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, so that you can at least have 3 that do the same thing.
I understand that. We're talking the Android-powered gaming console. I don't need 3 different kinds. You know what I'm saying?
More than that, though. I mean, once these 2 come out and they go to market, everyone's just going to copy them. They're going to come out with a stick that's $10
There's
cheaper.
Already sticks out there that you can get for $20 on eBay. But
they just don't have like a dedicated gaming UI. But yeah, you're right. You can.
No. Exactly.
This is what happens. I mean, this happens every single time you try to come in from the bottom with a low cost. I mean, you look at any platform that is open like that tries to come in based on cost because they think, it's going to be cheap, so people will buy it. That's what happens. You get tons of fragmentation and tons of issues like that. So, I mean, I think something like that, does it have some sort of a possibility? Sure, but I mean, the only reason you're going to get people that really like the game on their Xbox or PS3 or whatever, and I don't think we can consider the Wii one of those, or even the Wii U one of those systems at this point, just because of low adoption rates. Yeah, so great. That controller is freaking huge. I hadn't seen it in person yet. I finally saw it. I wouldn't buy it for that alone. But anyway.
Sorry. I had 2 things. I got my original point back. Someone in the chat said the UI will differentiate the systems. No, it won't. They all look like the Xbox Live UI. Get out of here. My second point was that, okay, so if you're going to have these games that belong on my HDTV for this thing, make sure that they're all paid for, because I don't want to see ads or anything like that. I want a smooth experience. Like I would pay like $5 for a good game that's developed specifically for use with a controller and for use on my HD TV to make it worth it. You know.
I mean, you say pay for the service and not have ads, but then again, you pay for Xbox Live and you still have advertisements on your console.
I pay for Xbox Live because I like to talk trash on Call of Duty.
Yeah, but why can't you talk trash on like Shadowgun or Dead Zone or whatever?
You can.
Okay, but to your point though about paying for stuff,
Right.
if you've already bought all these games through Google Play, and now like Ouya is going to launch their own store, you have to rebuy all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that sucks.
I guess.
But I mean, the thing about it is like, even if you do, like, you undoubtedly you'd want to do something different and separate, because if you really want to get this thing to take off, it's not going to be by saying, oh, you can play all your same Android games that you can play on your phone. That's not going to get anybody to say, oh yeah, I want to buy this thing that I already have. I already bought a smartphone and I can play them all in there. So that's not intriguing to anybody. I think the big issue is going to be, hey, can we get big name developers to come in and do versions of games on this kind of hardware? And the answer is going to be no, unless they have a bigger company behind them that's going to be able to push that kind of money around.
I thought the sell for the system was going to be that you didn't require a lot of money to get your product onto the system. So you're going to have the console that, you know, a small indie developer can automatically go and publish their stuff, similar to how they can on Android's Google Play, because you have to pay a lot of money to get on Xbox Live Arcade, even if you're an indie product, so you may not have the funds. So I think that was the major sell. I mean, I'm only arguing points just for the sake of arguing them, because I don't actually plan on purchasing the product. I'd be more interested in the console that Valve is working on than, you know, an Android-based one.
Definitely, I think that's all fine and dandy. Someone was saying, like, yeah, well, not many Android users even pay for apps, and yeah, we've run polls and we know people do not buy apps in our community. But then again, you don't buy an Xbox and expect to just have free games or something like that. You know, you expect to pay the $60 per game. If you go in there with the intent, with the knowledge, or, you know, knowing that you need to buy in order to get the content, good content, then hopefully I would think people would pay. I know there's ways of like pirating Xbox games, but it's a real pain in the butt.
Yeah, but that's going to be the key issue. You know, when you buy an Xbox, you have this expectation of, I'm going to get quality games. When people are buying a Wii, probably don't have as much of that expectation, because everything's cheaper, specs lower, and you're going to have the exact same expectation if you have some sort of an Android console like that, because the hardware, because of the size and portability, which I don't know why they're focusing on that. Because most people, if you want mobile gaming, they have a phone. 50% of the population has a phone. That's not the kind of form factor you want to be targeting for. If you really want to get into this gaming thing, it's not going to be by doing that. It's going to be by getting big developers and stuff like that. So I think this is something that Google could get into, or maybe even possibly a manufacturer, or somebody like NVIDIA with the Tegra series, if they want to, hey, here's this, you've played our games on mobile devices before and tablets. Here's how we're going to push this onto the TV as well in a bigger way with bigger name games.
It almost makes sense for Google TV to incorporate this kind of thing, like for Google to make a controller for Google TVs and have this all being one product within them. Instead of like an Ouya console, we should have Google TVs with a controller, and you have the whole thing right there. Same concept. It's a static box console, and then you have it there.
Yeah,
I think that would be great.
Yeah, but it's a very, very difficult market to jump into. The only reason people are going to do it is if it's cheap hardware, but if you have cheap hardware, you can't do big name games like that. So I mean, you got to go all in. Microsoft has an advantage because they got the Xbox, and Sony theoretically had an advantage with phones like the Xperia Play, which they didn't do anything with. So I mean, there's tons of room for stuff like this, but it's going to be a matter of if you're gonna do this, you got to go big. It can't be cheap hardware and stuff like that, and you've got to have the money to pull in those big name developers so you can get big games in there that people actually want to play.
Exactly. I think before Google starts talking about all this game crap, I really want them to get into like some type of game center application where I can have my saved game data go from one device to another with no BS, man, because I got really far in Need for Speed on the T-Mobile Note 2, and now I got to start all over on the Verizon Note 2. That sucks. So some type of game center like iOS has or something.
Even Amazon has it now. Even Amazon has it with the Kindle.
Yeah, well,
Google's the last one to do it, which is unfortunate because they need to do it. It's one of those things that feels like should have been there long ago, especially since they're trying to get everyone to buy tablets and all this stuff.
It's coming. It's coming. Hopefully. Google I/O 2013.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. Let's talk about apps that, we did this post that was the top 10 apps that every new Android user should install. And so Tim, I think you put this together, and it was, I'll just do your top 3 were Chrome, get a new browser because the stock browser usually sucks. You said Falcon Pro because everyone's addicted to Twitter these days. And then you said third-party keyboard, you went with SwiftKey. You said Instagram because you're addicted to Instagram. And you said Nova Launcher because third-party launcher is usually better than whatever comes to the stock experience. I pretty much agree with most of those. Instagram
and Google Voice. I didn't feel like putting Google Voice on that because not everyone's in the same situation as me. But I do like Google Voice.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's one of the first things I
Google apps should just be an automatic for everybody. You should be downloading all of them. Gmail, Play Music, all of that stuff. It should all be part of your immediate download.
Yeah, a lot of it just comes standard now. But you're right. When I hook up a new phone or something, the first thing I do is go to the Play Store and I go to the Google developer page, and just click install on all of them and just go down the list. But Ron and Dave, what would when you get a new phone or new device, what are the first 3 or 4 apps that you install immediately?
The biggest things for me is a decent Twitter client. I've been going back and forth between Boyd and Equifon. For me, I don't care for Falcon Pro. But that's a big thing. And then another thing that made Tim's list was Snapseed, and I love that app. That's great. Awesome. It's great for just light editing and touching things. I mean, you can do extensive stuff, but it's a fantastic app, and that's something I use that anytime I post something up to Flickr. I'm doing some light editing or cropping or whatever else in there. So that's big. Those are probably 2 big ones for me. So everything else is just kind of Gmail and stuff like that, stuff that I use regularly. But apps that I'm in constantly. I mean, I'm in Twitter about 95% of the day. So
yeah. What about you, Dave? You got a couple of apps that you install immediately?
Custom launcher because I think it's necessary. And
what launcher do you use? If you don't mind me asking.
Nova Launcher has become my primary. Obviously, I'm switching through all of them constantly to make sure stuff is still working, but Nova Launcher is mine, especially now that they fixed the issue on Moto, because he didn't have it set up to work properly with the transparent nav bar and status bar, so the wallpaper was cut off. So now that the wallpaper actually extends all the way to the bottom, Nova is my number 1 on that phone as well. And TweetDeck I'm still holding on to because of the multi-user support with swiping. I have to put that on there. And that's typically the first 2 that I got to put on. I mean, I could list off all the apps that I put on all the time, but those are, and Dropbox. Dropbox is my number 3.
Yeah, I think Dropbox is definitely on my list too for all my photos that upload automatically. But Google Voice, like Tim, you said, it has to go on because it's usually, well, for us, it's a lot of times it's a review unit that has.
Yeah, for us, it's always the first thing we put on. But I think for everyone else, it's just kind of meh.
Yeah, but I almost think everyone should transfer to Google Voice if they can at some point. It really is.
I use Google Voice for voicemail, so if I forget to put on that on my phone after I reset it, I'm not seeing when people are calling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, plus Google Voice, I can be on the internet and text from there and call from there, get my calls through the computer and all that. It's fantastic.
It is a fantastic app. Although they need to finally figure out some way to do MMS on it. It's been far too long on that as well.
So what happened? People were able to send me a picture message and it would go to my email. Now that just does not happen anymore.
It's only Sprint. Yeah, it's only Sprint.
What?
Yeah, so and even I've even heard people if you have a friend that has a Sprint phone and they send you an MMS to your Google Voice number, it'll actually show up, but it has to come from a Sprint phone.
Oh my god!
And Sprint people can send them to each other that way, and it'll show through email. But yeah,
I must have had the Optimus G or something when that was happening. I was like, whoa, I'm getting Google Voice.
Yeah,
picture messages.
It was probably when you had that, or the Photon Q or something.
Don't remind me of that.
I still have that, by the way.
Don't speak of that device.
Should probably send that thing back. All right, let's talk about just briefly. So Jelly Bean was pushed to the Droid RAZR on Christmas Eve. And we just got this flood of people on Twitter in our inbox that said, the original Droid RAZR, it's getting Jelly Bean. And we said, oh, that's awesome. I actually have one still and fired it up. And sure enough, I was prompted for the update too. A few people were able to actually get the update to come through all the way, and a bunch of people, me included, it just cut off about halfway through, and then it just said, no, your phone is now up to date. So it was like Motorola caught it, that they were sending out an update they probably didn't mean to. And like the build date on it was December 11th, so it was fairly new, clearly had now gone through testing. So where we're at now is we have a ton of people that updated to this thing because they were prompted to it, updated. I'm sure they're all not just Droid Life readers, right? There's probably people all over the place. And we're starting to get emails from people that are having issues, bug issues, connection issues, all kinds of stuff, right? And they're calling Verizon and Motorola and saying, what's up with this? Why is my phone not working? You guys sent this update to me. And it's taken them to get to like second or third tiers of customer service before they can get someone that'll actually admit to them that they accidentally got the update. But so far, they haven't really wanted to own up to it or issue much of a fix other than you can go maybe exchange your phone at a corporate Verizon store for a new one, and that's sort of it. Kind of weird. I don't know that we've ever seen like a company accidentally push an update to that many people. Like it wasn't 2 or 3. We're talking like thousands of people, I think, probably got this as an early Christmas present. So, I mean, yeah, there's not really a lot of opinion to be had on it, but that's just sort of the situation that's going on out there. And Verizon and Motorola haven't said anything like, yeah, we accidentally did this. You have to go a couple tiers up in support, and they'll finally tell you. And it's kind of a disaster. I mean, it was their mistake. They sort of need to own up to it or either fix it or something. Like I'm sort of curious what's going to happen when they actually do approve an official update and all of these other people are stuck on this one that was accidentally pushed to them. Are they going to fix that? Are they going to give them a minor update? How are they going to do that?
Maybe this was a ploy to get people to lose their unlimited data if they hadn't updated yet.
Jeez.
I always love a good conspiracy. That's not a bad one.
I've heard worse.
Somebody emailed us this weekend, speaking of unlimited data, and said that they heard that April was for sure going to be the end of unlimited data, and I have no way to back that with any source whatsoever, and I don't believe that at all, but that's what somebody said. So target April for the for some sort of
target end of contract if that's the case.
Yeah, really. I don't know. We'll see. Do you guys have any apps or games from the last week or so? It was kind of a holiday, a couple of weeks. I don't really have one. Ron, you got one?
Yeah, it's an app. I just barely been playing around with it because, yeah, like you said, holidays and everything else like that. But it's called Vidi, and it's basically kind of like the Instagram of videos. So you can just shoot a quick video, and you can add filters and all that other kind of junk if you wanted to. But it's just kind of a quick way to share videos, which, you know, if you've got a 3G phone, then I wouldn't bother messing with it because the upload is going to take forever. But if you're on LTE or on Wi-Fi, you know, and shooting a quick video, just ways to share that with friends, especially if you are, you know, I mean, most Twitter apps have something like that where you can push it up there, but if, you know, just kind of centralize that, and there's all sorts of other people using it. You can look at other videos, and just another way to share that.
Do they limit how long videos could be? Is there like a time or size limit or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I can't remember offhand. I didn't hit that limit. I just shot a couple quick ones and played around with it.
Is it on any other platforms, or is it just Android?
It's Android and iOS. I don't think it's. Okay. I doubt it's anywhere else. So.
Yeah, probably not. Okay.
No Windows Mobile love?
Windows Phone. Windows Mobile's dead.
Oh, yeah, Windows. Wasn't Microsoft complaining today about how Google's like YouTube or something? They're pissed that they haven't released the official YouTube app.
Well, yeah, because they're blocking some of the features on there, which, I mean, they don't even have really an app. And then they also officially made a complaint about the Gmail thing, which is actually a pretty legitimate complaint. So
it is. There's no official Google apps, right, at all? I think the YouTube one just opens up the browser.
It's a browser. It's a Microsoft-built app that opens up the browser. There are third-party ones that are okay, but they're limited by what Google will let them do or not do. So it's very, very clear that Google's just giving Microsoft the bird and moving on. So, because I mean, Google hasn't put out a statement, nothing, and they've had plenty of time to do so, and just they're not saying anything about it. So it's pretty clear they're just screwing over Microsoft, and they don't care. Which, I mean, to be fair, to kind of defend Google, I mean, it makes sense. iOS and Android are kind of the only platforms that matter at this point, and Windows Phone does not matter, but it kind of sucks for those guys. They have IMAP, but IMAP sucks.
It does suck for anyone on Windows Phone, but, you know, there's not that many people on it, so. Let's see what else do we got. Does anyone want to talk about is it Ubuntu? I don't even know if I know how to say that. This could sound really bad. Everyone in the chat's going to be like, you guys are idiots.
Ubuntu
OS that came out today. There's a couple of videos floating around out there about it. It looks kind of like a nice operating system, although I think The Verge had a video of it actually in action. It's super laggy and looks kind
Glad did a hands-on.
Yeah, but the OS itself looks really nice. There's no like back home or menu buttons or anything like that. It's all gesture based, sort of like BlackBerry's OS is. It looks really nice. I don't know that I really care.
It's got some problem. John Gruber over at Daring Fireball wrote up a quick post just saying that if you've got an OS that's gesture based, that's basically like having an operating system that's all keyboard shortcuts. Which I think is a really, really good point because it's not intuitive. There's a huge learning curve. Which you can definitely get around in some instances. WebOS was very much gesture based, and you learn it, and you do a quick intro video, and hopefully you figure out some things, stuff like that. But it looks nice. They're obviously going to need to do a lot of hardware optimization and all that, but I don't think it's going anywhere.
It's definitely not going anywhere. But we're
seeing a lot of that stuff happening lately. Everyone's trying to get their open source, operating systems onto all these different phones, and I just don't see them all taking off.
It'll be really hard for. I hate to say that it'll be really hard for anybody else to come along and sort of take off, but Android and iOS are so huge and have such a hold on the market right now.
You have Apple muscling theirs, and you have Google muscling theirs. I don't see how you're going to fit in. Microsoft can't pull it off right now. So
there's tons of space because the major carriers are just getting over 50% in terms of people who have smartphones. There's still a ton of room and tons of space for. Most people have bought into an ecosystem at some point, but most people probably haven't bought that many apps. It wouldn't be that difficult for somebody to switch, especially since most people, if they're using a bunch of apps, they're probably free apps. There's room. It's just a matter of can you wow people the way that Android did it first and the way that iOS did it first, and there's not a lot of room for that. So
no, there's not, unfortunately. Competition's always good too, so it's kind of sad. Dave, did you have a couple games you wanted to talk about?
Well, I am on vacation, so there are some games that have been keeping me busy out here. One of them is Devil's Attorney. It's a fun little game, turn-based. I don't want to say RPG, kind of, but not. I don't know. It's just a fun little time waster. They have some fun conversations between the lawyer and the prosecutor. And the other one would be Pudding Monsters, which is absolutely amazing.
That's Zepto Lab.
Yeah,
Zepto Lab did that.
And that's got some challenge to it. It's a lot of fun. Nice, clean graphics.
I think I forgot to install it. Tim, you played that for a second, didn't you?
Literally.
Well, yeah, but why didn't you like? Because Dave liked it. Was it too hard for you?
Is it too smart for you, Tim? Is that what it is?
I couldn't grasp the concept. The colors weren't bright enough to keep my attention. No, it's fine. It just really wasn't my cup because I really like Cut the Rope, but just Pudding Monsters just didn't really keep me in. I got way too busy with Need for Speed, bro.
I think this is less action. This is more like think about your moves and go, kind of like a.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. Game. I need to like pump the nos. I need to steer.
He has a need for speed. Let's just be honest.
Exactly. I am the most wanted.
Yes, apparently you are. That's pretty much all I got for this week's show. There hasn't been a lot in the last couple of weeks. You guys have anything else you want to touch on?
Yeah, I didn't mention my 2 apps, but
you had a couple apps?
Yeah.
You could write them down so I know that.
Oh,
maybe let anybody else know. I don't know.
No, I like to keep it a surprise. So the first was like a silly game I wrote up. It's called Super Mega Worm vs. Santa 2.
Oh yeah.
And that game is sweet. You're just a big worm that flies around eating elves and stuff. And the one I really wanted to discuss, it's called App Sales. And so basically, we during the holidays, Google was doing, well, they weren't doing anything actually, but like publishers were putting their apps on sale, and App Sales, one word, they are an app that shows you all of the special like promotions and sales that are going on through Google Play. So you just load up the app, and then there you go. You see, Grand Theft Auto is 99 cents, blah, 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 and it just shows all the sales going on. And that, to me, is huge. Because usually, you know, I'm kind of like every other Android user where sometimes if I really want an app, I'll kind of wait a little bit to see if it goes on sale. And, yeah, it's a fantastic application, and I couldn't recommend it highly enough.
It's probably the app I use the most out of any over the last couple of weeks, yeah. Because there's been so much stuff on sale, and it notifies you. Like, it'll say, like, there's 7 new apps on sale, and you just load it up, tells you what they are, and
Exactly.
most of them usually aren't something you want, but every once in a while you find something you're like, oh, that game. And you can watch, like, certain games and maybe even developers, I think, too. Like, if a new game comes out that's $10, you can put a watch on it, yeah, and it'll tell you if it drops.
Yeah, that's easily app of the month right there.
App of the month for sure. I'm with you. All right, well, we can just kind of wrap up. You know, I don't want to drag everyone's night out. We will try to do, well, I don't know. Tim and I wanted to do a CES show next week, like live from Vegas.
Oh, but we're so busy.
Our schedule, like we had it slotted in on Wednesday at like 5 p.m. We were going to do it early, and then now Verizon's throwing a party then, and HTC is too, and it's just, I don't know if we're gonna try, aren't we, Tim? We're gonna try.
Yeah, we'll try and squeeze you guys in. I would love to do a show from Vegas. I mean, we might get kind of a weird echo because you'll be on one side of the room maybe, and I'll be on the other side. But we'll try and make it work. Maybe I'll do it from the bathroom. Be like, hey.
Maybe we'll just do it like sitting right next to each other on each other's lap or something.
I'll call you Santa.
So you're saying Kellen's on bottom is what you're saying?
Apparently.
Oh shit. All right.
But if we do one, it might have to be like an early morning show almost. I don't know, our schedule is crazy packed. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, we can just do it when we get back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll let you guys know. We'll keep you up on it. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got. So if you guys don't have anything, we'll just call it a week and get ready for CES. We'll be there Sunday.
Have a wonderful 2013, everyone. Best of luck to everyone. All that.
Yeah, Happy New Year. That's right, 2013. We'll see what happens in 2013. 2012 was quite eventful.
It blew by.
I have no idea what to expect in 2013, that's for sure. So, anyway.
Excellent.
All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Droid Life Show episode 11 in the books. Peace.